The lecture hall buzzed with nervous energy as students from 17 different species settled into their seats. The Galactic Academy of Sciences had only recently begun accepting human applications, and Maya Chen was one of just 3 humans in the entire stellar engineering program. She adjusted her datapad and tried to ignore the whispered conversations happening around her in languages that ranged from melodic chirps to grinding mechanical sounds. "Attention, students," Professor Zixtal announced, his forearms gracefully manipulating the holographic display at the front of the room. The Korthani instructor's exoskeleton gleamed under the artificial lighting, and his compound eyes surveyed the classroom with calculating precision. "Today we begin our final project assessment. You will design and present a theoretical solution to the Kepler 442b mining crisis." Maya's heart raced. She had been preparing for this moment for months. The distant planet's unique gravitational anomalies and unstable core had stumped the galaxy's best engineers for decades. Mining operations had failed repeatedly, costing billions of credits and numerous lives. "The project will be completed in teams of 4, Professor Zixtal continued. "Species diversity is encouraged, as different perspectives often yield innovative solutions." A tall, crystalline being named Veltar raised one of her 7 arms. The crystally female's voice resonated like wind chimes when she spoke. "Professor, surely the human specimens should be grouped together? Their primitive understanding of quantum mechanics might contaminate more advanced theoretical frameworks." Snickers rippled through the classroom. Maya felt her cheeks burn, but she kept her expression neutral. She had faced this kind of dismissive attitude since arriving at the academy 6 months ago. Most galactic species viewed humans as barely evolved apes who had stumbled into space travel through luck rather than genuine intelligence. "An interesting perspective, Veltar," Professor Zixtal replied, his tone carefully neutral. "However, academic policy requires random assignment. The computer will now generate teams." The holographic display flickered, and names began appearing in groups of 4. Maya watched as her name materialized alongside 3 others: Veltar the Crystary, Krexnos the Thoraxian warrior scholar, and Piptel the diminutive squeaker engineer. Veltar's crystalline features somehow managed to convey disgust despite their alien nature. "This is unacceptable. We cannot be expected to achieve excellence while compensating for human limitations." Krexnos, whose insectoid features and razor-sharp mandibles made him look perpetually aggressive, clicked in what Maya had learned was amusement. "Perhaps the human will surprise you, Crystal Singer. I have read their historical records. They show remarkable adaptability when underestimated." "Adaptability is not intelligence," Veltar shot back. "They required external assistance to achieve faster-than-light travel. Most species develop FTL capabilities independently. Humans were literally gifted the technology by the Altrurians after demonstrating basic mathematical competency." Maya's hands clenched into fists under her desk. The accusation stung because it contained a grain of truth. Humanity had indeed received FTL technology from the benevolent Altrurians, but only after proving they could use it responsibly. Still, this fact was constantly used to diminish human achievements. Piptel, whose large eyes and small stature made him appear perpetually curious, squeaked softly. "Historical context matters little. Present capability determines team success. We should focus on project requirements." Professor Zixtal's compound eyes focused on their group. "Your team designation is Theta 7. The Kepler 442b crisis has confounded our best minds for 37 standard years. Previous solutions have failed due to inadequate consideration of the planet's unique properties. The gravitational fluctuations occur in 17-minute cycles, the magnetic field shifts unpredictably, and the planetary core exhibits quantum instabilities that violate conventional physics." Maya's mind immediately began processing the information, drawing connections between the various anomalies. Her human brain, evolved for pattern recognition and creative problem-solving, started forming preliminary hypotheses. But she remained silent, knowing that any immediate suggestions would be dismissed as primitive thinking. "You have 4 weeks to develop your proposal," the professor continued. "Intermediate presentations will occur weekly, allowing for peer review and refinement. The winning team will receive priority placement in advanced orbital engineering positions with the Galactic Mining Consortium. As students began dispersing to form their initial team meetings, Veltar approached Maya with obvious reluctance. Her crystalline form caught and refracted the room's lighting, creating rainbow patterns on nearby surfaces. "Human, I want to establish ground rules immediately," she began, her harmonic voice carrying clear authority. "I will lead this team. Krexnos will handle structural calculations due to Thoraxian expertise in materials science. Piptel will manage quantum computations, as Squeaker mathematics are adequately advanced. You will observe and, perhaps, contribute basic labor calculations if needed." Maya felt her temper flare but forced herself to respond calmly. "I appreciate your organizational approach, Veltar. However, I'd like to review the project parameters before accepting any specific role assignments." Veltar's form seemed to brighten with indignation. "Review? You dare suggest that human comprehension might equal Christory analytical capabilities? My species has been solving stellar engineering problems for millennia while yours was discovering fire." Krexnos clicked again, his mandibles spreading in what Maya recognized as amusement. "The human shows appropriate caution, Crystal Singer. Premature role assignment often leads to suboptimal team performance. Perhaps we should examine the data before establishing hierarchy." Piptel nodded enthusiastically, his large eyes blinking rapidly. "Krexnos speaks wisdom. Effective collaboration requires understanding individual capabilities before task allocation." Veltar's crystalline features somehow managed to convey a sneer. "Very well. We will waste time on this charade. But, when human limitations become apparent, remember that I warned you." The team gathered around a holographic display terminal in one of the Academy's collaboration pods. The Kepler 442b data streamed across multiple screens, showing decades of failed mining attempts, sensor readings, and theoretical models. Maya studied the information intently, her pattern recognition instincts working overtime. The planet's gravitational anomalies followed no conventional model. Previous teams had tried to predict them using standard orbital mechanics, but the fluctuations seemed almost random. The magnetic field shifts were equally puzzling, occurring independently of the gravitational changes. Most confusing were the quantum instabilities in the planetary core, which appeared to violate several fundamental laws of physics. "The obvious solution involves gravitational stabilizers," Veltar announced confidently. "Christory Engineering has perfected such devices for asteroid mining operations. We simply need to scale up the technology and account for the magnetic interference." Krexnos studied the structural failure reports from previous attempts. Thoraxian analysis indicates material stress beyond conventional tolerances. Previous teams underestimated the destructive forces involved. "We need revolutionary materials, not just scaled technology." Piptel was already running quantum calculations on his specialized datapad. "Squeaker mathematics suggests the core instabilities follow nonlinear patterns. Traditional quantum models fail to predict behavior. We need new theoretical framework." Maya continued analyzing the data, but something about the failure patterns caught her attention. Every previous attempt had focused on fighting the planet's anomalies, trying to overcome or predict them. But what if the anomalies themselves were the key? Has anyone considered that the gravitational fluctuations might be artificial? Maya asked quietly. Veltar's harmonic laughter filled the pod. Artificial? You suggest that natural planetary forces are somehow manufactured? This is exactly the kind of primitive thinking I expected from human cognition. Let me clarify, Maya continued, ignoring the insult. I'm not suggesting conscious creation, but rather that the anomalies might be the result of the planet's unique composition interacting with external forces in ways we haven't considered. Krexnos' mandibles stopped clicking. Explain your reasoning, human. Maya highlighted specific data points on the holographic display. Look at the timing of the gravitational fluctuations. They occur every 17 minutes, but that interval isn't constant. It fluctuates by microseconds in a pattern that almost looks like. She paused, running quick calculations. Like a resonance frequency. Piptel's large eyes widened as he followed her logic. Resonance suggests interaction between planetary core and external source. What external source could affect gravitational field? Maya's mind raced through possibilities. What if Kepler 442b isn't just a planet with unusual properties? What if it's responding to something we haven't detected yet? The quantum instabilities in the core could be the result of the planet itself trying to maintain equilibrium against an external influence. Veltar's crystalline form dimmed with annoyance. This is pure speculation without scientific basis. You're anthropomorphizing a celestial body, attributing consciousness where none exists. I'm not suggesting consciousness, Maya replied patiently. I'm suggesting physics. If the planet's core contains materials that interact quantum mechanically with an external source, the instabilities we're seeing could be the result of that interaction. Krexnos was now studying the data more carefully, his compound eyes processing information at impressive speed. Human logic shows merit. Previous attempts assumed planetary properties were static. If properties are reactive to external influence, conventional mining approaches would fail regardless of technological sophistication. Maya felt a surge of excitement as connections formed in her mind. The magnetic field shifts could be the planet's attempt to shield itself from whatever external force is affecting its core. The gravitational fluctuations could be side effects of the core's quantum state changes. Piptel's whiskers twitched with excitement. If theory proves correct, solution requires identifying external source and either neutralizing influence or working with planetary responses rather than against them. Veltar remained skeptical, her crystalline form maintaining its dimmed state. Even if this ridiculous theory has merit, how do you propose to test it? We have 4 weeks to develop a practical solution, not chase imaginary external influences across the galaxy. Maya smiled for the first time since the project began. We don't need to chase anything across the galaxy. If I'm right, the external source is already in the data. We just need to look at it from a different perspective. She began manipulating the holographic display, overlaying gravitational readings with magnetic field data and quantum measurements. The pattern seemed chaotic at first, but, as she adjusted the temporal scales and added harmonic analysis, something remarkable emerged. There, Maya pointed to a subtle pattern in the overlaid data. Every 17 minutes and 43 seconds, there's a micro-resonance that affects all 3 phenomena simultaneously. It's so small that previous teams dismissed it as sensor noise, but if you track it across multiple datasets, the pattern became clear. A faint but consistent signal was influencing Kepler 442b from somewhere outside the planet's atmosphere. The signal wasn't random noise, it was structured, purposeful, and completely artificial. Krexnos' mandibles clicked rapidly with excitement. Signal originates from fixed point relative to planetary orbit. External source maintains constant position despite orbital mechanics. Piptel was already running calculations. Signal strength and frequency suggest technological origin, not natural phenomenon. Veltar stared at the display in stunned silence as the implications became clear. Maya had identified something that 37 years of galactic engineering expertise had missed. Kepler 442b wasn't just a planet with unusual properties. It was a planet under the influence of alien technology. The discovery of the artificial signal sent shockwaves through Team Theta 7's dynamic. Veltar's previous dismissive attitude toward Maya had transformed into grudging curiosity, though she still maintained her crystalline composure with obvious effort. The next 3 days were spent in intense analysis, with each team member contributing their species' unique capabilities to understanding the mysterious transmission. Maya found herself working 18-hour days, driven by the thrill of scientific discovery. The signal's complexity was staggering. Hidden within what appeared to be random quantum fluctuations was a sophisticated pattern that seemed to be actively maintaining Kepler 442b's unstable state. More disturbing was the realization that this wasn't accidental interference, but deliberate manipulation. The signal architecture suggests advanced artificial intelligence, Piptel announced during their 4th day of investigation. His small hands manipulated complex mathematical models with surprising dexterity. Pattern recognition indicates self-modifying algorithms that adapt to planetary resistance. Krexnos had been analyzing the signal's origin point using Thoraxian military sensor techniques. His warrior background provided unique insights into detection and tracking methodologies that civilian engineers often lacked. Source maintains perfect orbital synchronization with Kepler 442b despite gravitational perturbations from nearby stellar bodies. This requires continuous trajectory correction beyond natural asteroid capabilities. Maya studied the data from yet another angle, her human brain's pattern recognition abilities working overtime. Something about the signal's modulation reminded her of something familiar, but she couldn't quite identify what. The frequency shifts followed a mathematical progression that felt almost musical in its complexity. Veltar, your species has the most extensive databases of known alien technologies, Maya said, carefully keeping her tone respectful. Have you found any matches for the signal architecture? The crystally engineer had been unusually quiet since Maya's discovery. Her crystalline form maintained a subdued luminescence that indicated deep concentration rather than her usual confident radiance. Crystally archives contain no matching signatures. The technology appears to be completely unknown to galactic civilization. This statement carried enormous implications. The crystally were among the oldest spacefaring species in known space, with historical records spanning over 50,000 years. If their archives contained no reference to this technology, it meant they were dealing with either an extremely ancient civilization or one that had managed to remain completely hidden from galactic society. Maya's mind continued working on the signal's familiar pattern. Something about the mathematical progressions reminded her of human music theory, specifically the harmonic relationships found in complex symphonies. But that couldn't be right. The signal predated human space travel by decades, possibly centuries. Wait, Maya said suddenly, her excitement causing her voice to crack slightly. I need to test something. Piptel, can you run a harmonic analysis on the signal using human musical mathematics? Veltar's form brightened with what Maya was learning to recognize as indignation. Musical mathematics? Are you seriously suggesting that advanced alien technology operates on primitive human artistic principles? Just humor me, Maya insisted. There's something about the frequency relationships that feels familiar. If I'm wrong, we lose a few minutes. If I'm right. Piptel's whiskers twitched with curiosity as he began implementing Maya's request. His small fingers danced across the holographic interface, translating the alien signal into human musical notation and harmonic relationships. The results appeared on screen as both mathematical equations and traditional musical staffs. The team stared in stunned silence as the pattern became clear. The signal wasn't just using harmonic relationships similar to human music, it was using human music. Specifically, it was using the mathematical foundations of Western classical composition, including harmonic progressions that hadn't been developed by humans until the 18th century. This is impossible, Veltar whispered, her crystalline form dimming with confusion. How can alien technology use human musical principles that predate human space travel? Maya's mind raced through possibilities, each more incredible than the last. What if it's not alien technology? What if it's human technology that's been out here far longer than we thought? Krexnos' mandibles clicked skeptically. Human records show first interstellar travel occurred only 150 years ago with Altrurian assistance. This signal has been affecting Kepler 442b for centuries, possibly millennia. Official human records, Maya corrected. But what if there were humans in space long before official first contact? What if some group of humans developed independent space travel capabilities and established hidden installations throughout the galaxy? Piptel's large eyes blinked rapidly as he processed this possibility. Theory requires significant revision of accepted historical timeline. But signal evidence supports human origin hypothesis. Maya began pulling together additional evidence from their analysis. Look at the signal's adaptive responses to planetary resistance. They're not following any known alien logic patterns. They're following human problem-solving methodologies, trial and error, iterative improvement, pattern recognition. It's how human engineers would approach maintaining long-term stability in an unstable system. Veltar's form pulsed with what Maya was beginning to recognize as intellectual excitement overriding species prejudice. If humans have maintained hidden installations for centuries, it explains numerous unexplained phenomena in galactic exploration records. Ships disappearing in supposedly empty space, sensor anomalies that resolve themselves, unexplained supply discoveries on barren worlds. The implications were staggering. If Maya's theory was correct, humans hadn't stumbled into space travel through luck or alien charity. Some faction of humanity had been operating in space for centuries, possibly millennia, while maintaining complete secrecy from both galactic civilization and mainstream human society. "We need to locate the signal source," Maya announced. "If it really is a human installation, whoever's running it might be willing to cooperate with a solution to the mining crisis." Krexnos military training immediately engaged. Approach protocols for unknown installations require extreme caution. Hidden facilities maintain secrecy for reasons. Unexpected contact could trigger defensive responses. Maya nodded, acknowledging the warrior's wisdom. "You're right. We need to approach this carefully. But, first, we need to present our findings to Professor Zixtal. This discovery is too important to keep to ourselves." The team spent the next day preparing their presentation, carefully documenting their evidence and conclusions. Maya insisted on presenting the human connection theory despite Veltar's concerns about academic credibility. If they were right about the signal's origin, it would revolutionize understanding of both human history and galactic exploration. Professor Zixtal's compound eyes studied their holographic displays with intense concentration as Maya explained their findings. His forearms manipulated additional data streams, cross-referencing their conclusions with Academy databases and historical records. "Your analysis appears mathematically sound," the professor finally announced. "The identification of harmonic patterns is particularly compelling evidence. However, your conclusions about human origin raise serious questions about accepted historical records." Veltar stepped forward, her crystalline form radiating newfound respect for her human teammate. "Professor, while the historical implications are significant, the immediate practical value is clear. If we can establish communication with the signal source, we may be able to coordinate a solution to the mining crisis rather than fighting against unknown technology." Maya felt a surge of gratitude toward her formerly hostile teammate. Veltar's support lent credibility to their theory and demonstrated that scientific evidence could overcome species prejudice when properly presented. "The Academy's Exploration Department has been notified," Professor Zixtal continued. "A reconnaissance mission to the signal source has been approved. However, given the potential sensitivity of contact with unknown human installations, the mission will require human participation." Maya's heart raced with excitement and terror. "Are you suggesting that I should be part of the contact team?" "Not suggesting, requiring," the professor replied. "If your theory proves correct, human presence will be essential for successful communication. Academy protocols for first contact with hidden civilizations require species representation." Krexnos clicked approvingly. "Theraxian military doctrine supports multi-species contact teams. Different perspectives improve threat assessment and communication probability." Piptel's whiskers twitched with excitement. "Adventure beyond classroom theory. Real-world application of academic knowledge." Veltar's form pulsed with what Maya now recognized as anticipation mixed with concern. "The reconnaissance mission will require careful preparation. Unknown human installations may possess technology far advanced beyond current galactic standards. We must be prepared for any possibility." Over the next week, Maya found herself thrust into an intensive training program designed for first contact scenarios. Academy instructors drilled her in communication protocols, cultural sensitivity procedures, and emergency response techniques. The irony wasn't lost on her that she was being trained to make first contact with her own species. The mission planning revealed the full scope of what they were attempting. The signal source was located in a debris field between Kepler 442b and its primary star, hidden within what appeared to be natural asteroid formations. Preliminary scans suggested artificial structures, but the installations were so well camouflaged that even advanced sensors could barely detect them. Maya's team would accompany a small exploration vessel crewed by Academy specialists. Their role would be to analyze any technology they discovered and, if possible, establish communication with whoever was maintaining the signal. The mission was classified at the highest levels, with potential implications for both human integration into galactic society and understanding of early spacefaring history. The night before departure, Maya sat in her dormitory room reviewing everything they had discovered. From a simple class assignment about planetary mining, they had uncovered evidence of secret human space operations spanning centuries. The discovery challenged everything she thought she knew about her own species' history and capabilities. Her datapad chimed with an incoming message from Veltar. The Crystary engineer's text was formal but warm. "Human Maya, your pattern recognition capabilities have exceeded all expectations. Tomorrow we may discover that your species has been underestimated for far longer than we realized." Maya smiled, remembering the crystalline being's dismissive attitude just 2 weeks earlier. Scientific collaboration had a way of breaking down prejudices that diplomacy alone couldn't touch. Whatever they found at the signal source, the mission had already proven that humans belonged in galactic civilization not as junior partners, but as equals. She closed the datapad and tried to sleep, knowing that tomorrow would either validate her theory or expose her to galactic ridicule. Either way, she was about to discover just how much humanity had been hiding from both itself and the galaxy. The exploration vessel Harmonious Discovery dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler 442 system with barely a whisper. Captain Yithral, a seasoned Eltrurian navigator with over 2 centuries of exploration experience, guided the ship through the asteroid field with practiced expertise. His elongated features and luminous silver skin reflected the bridge displays as he monitored their approach to the signal source. Maya stood beside the primary sensor station, her heart hammering against her ribs as they drew closer to potentially the most significant discovery in human history. Beside her, Veltar monitored communication arrays while Krexnos tracked defensive systems, and Piptel analyzed structural compositions of the surrounding asteroids. "Sensor resolution improving," announced Lieutenant Kexera, the ship's Korthani science officer. "Detecting artificial structures embedded within asteroid formation. Configuration suggests extensive modification of natural space debris." Maya watched as the holographic display revealed their destination. What appeared from a distance to be a random cluster of space rocks was actually a carefully constructed installation. Asteroids had been hollowed out, connected by transparent tunnels, and equipped with sophisticated technology that blended seamlessly with the natural environment. "By the void," Captain Yithral whispered in amazement. "I've never seen camouflage this sophisticated." These installations are completely invisible to standard long-range sensors. Veltar's crystalline form brightened with excitement. "Signal analysis confirms origin point. The quantum manipulation broadcasts are definitely emanating from the central asteroid cluster." Maya studied the installation's architecture, noting design elements that seemed familiar yet impossibly advanced. The construction showed clear human engineering principles, but executed with technology far beyond anything she knew humanity possessed. Curved tunnels followed optimal stress distribution patterns that human engineers had only recently begun to understand. "Captain, we're receiving a communication attempt," Lieutenant Kexera announced suddenly. "The signal this is unusual. It's coming in standard galactic common, but the underlying mathematics are definitely human in origin." Captain Yithral's luminous skin flickered with curiosity. "Put it through." The bridge speakers crackled with static before a clear voice emerged. The accent was recognizably human, but with an unusual cadence that suggested centuries of isolation from mainstream human culture. "Unidentified vessel, you are approaching a restricted research installation. Please identify yourselves and state your purpose. Be advised that this facility operates under ancient mandate protocols and is authorized to defend itself if threatened." Maya stepped forward, her voice slightly shaky with excitement and nervousness. "This is Maya Chun from the Galactic Academy of Sciences. We've been investigating the quantum signals affecting Kepler 442b, and we believe they originate from your installation. We're hoping to establish dialogue about the planetary mining crisis." A long pause followed, during which Maya could hear whispered conversations in rapid, archaic-sounding human languages. Finally, the voice returned, noticeably warmer but still cautious. Maya Chen. Human name, but traveling with galactic vessel. This is unexpected. We have maintained monitoring protocols of mainstream human development, but direct contact was not anticipated for several more decades. Captain Yithral gestured for Maya to continue taking the lead in communications. The Eltrurian understood the historical significance of what was occurring and wanted to ensure human representation in any negotiations. We discovered your signal through analysis of Kepler 442b's anomalies, Maya explained. Our team identified the harmonic patterns in your quantum broadcasts. We're hoping you might be willing to help resolve the mining crisis that's been affecting the planet for decades. Another pause, followed by what sounded like excited discussions in multiple human languages. Maya caught fragments of English, Mandarin, Spanish, and what might have been Russian or German, all flowing together in a linguistic mix that suggested centuries of cultural blending. Maya Chen, your team's discovery demonstrates impressive analytical capabilities. We are surprised that mainstream galactic engineering identified our harmonic signatures. Your request for assistance with mining operations presents interesting diplomatic considerations. Veltar moved closer to Maya, her crystalline form pulsing with curiosity. May I ask who we're speaking with? Your technology appears far advanced beyond current human capabilities. A reasonable question, Crystal Singer. I am Research Director Elena Vasquez, speaking for the Kepler Station Collective. We represent descendants of Earth's first independent space travelers, who departed your homeworld approximately 800 years before official first contact with galactic civilization. The revelation sent shockwaves through the bridge crew. 800 years of secret human space travel meant that this hidden civilization had been operating in the galaxy for over a millennium. They had developed advanced technology, established multiple installations, and maintained complete secrecy from both Earth and galactic society. Maya's mind raced with questions, but she focused on their immediate mission. Director Vasquez, the quantum instabilities you're generating are preventing mining operations on Kepler 442b. Numerous teams have failed to extract resources from the planet, resulting in significant economic losses and some loss of life. We are aware of the mining attempts, Director Vasquez replied, her tone becoming more serious. The quantum stabilization field is not intended to prevent resource extraction. It serves a far more critical purpose that we cannot simply discontinue. Krexnos stepped forward, his military instincts engaging. What purpose requires destabilizing an entire planet? Prevention of planetary core collapse, came the stark reply. Kepler 442b's core contains unstable transuranics that would explode with the force of several solar flares if allowed to reach critical mass. Our quantum field maintains artificial stability, preventing a catastrophic detonation that would sterilize this entire star system. The bridge fell into stunned silence as the implications became clear. The mining teams hadn't been fighting mysterious alien technology, they had been unknowingly attempting to extract resources from a planet that was essentially a massive bomb waiting to explode. Captain Yithral's skin flickered rapidly with alarm. How long has this instability existed? Approximately 4,000 years, Director Vasquez replied calmly. Natural radioactive decay combined with gravitational stress fractures created critical mass conditions. We discovered the situation during early exploration missions and have maintained stabilization protocols ever since. Maya felt the weight of the discovery settling on her shoulders. This wasn't just about mining rights or academic recognition. If the hidden human installation failed or was forced to shut down their stabilization field, the resulting explosion would destroy everything within several light years. Director, we need to find a solution that allows safe resource extraction while maintaining planetary stability, Maya said. Can you give us more information about your stabilization technology? That would require direct consultation and technology sharing, Director Vasquez replied. Such cooperation would necessitate revealing our existence to galactic authorities, ending 8 centuries of careful isolation. Veltar's form pulsed with understanding. The collective has remained hidden to avoid interference with natural human development. Contact with galactic civilization would fundamentally alter human cultural evolution. Correct, Crystal Singer. Our mandate requires minimal interference with mainstream human society while protecting galactic stability from threats that pre-contact civilizations cannot address. The Kepler 442b situation represents a conflict between these objectives. Maya realized she was standing at a crossroads that would affect not just her academic career, but the future relationship between hidden human civilization and galactic society. The decision about whether to reveal the collective's existence was beyond her authority, but she could help facilitate discussions between the relevant parties. Director Vasquez, would the collective be willing to participate in a joint research project? We could work together to develop a solution that maintains planetary stability while allowing safe mining operations. The collaboration could be structured to minimize cultural interference concerns. An intriguing proposal, came the thoughtful reply. However, such cooperation would require approval from the Collective Council and coordination with galactic authorities. The diplomatic complexities are significant. Captain Yithral stepped forward. The Galactic Academy has protocols for managing contact with isolated civilizations. If the collective is willing to enter preliminary discussions, we can arrange appropriate diplomatic channels. Maya held her breath as another lengthy pause suggested intense discussions among the collective leadership. The next few minutes could determine whether humanity's secret space civilization remained hidden for another few centuries or stepped into the light of galactic recognition. Maya Chen, Director Vasquez finally, said, "Your team's discovery has forced a decision we hope to postpone for several more generations. However, the planetary stability crisis requires immediate action. We are willing to host a small delegation for preliminary discussions about joint research possibilities." Veltar's form brightened with excitement. This could represent the most significant technological exchange in galactic history. Hidden human civilization has had 8 centuries to develop independently of both Earth and galactic influence. Piptel's whiskers twitched rapidly with anticipation. Advanced quantum manipulation technology could revolutionize stellar engineering applications throughout the galaxy. Maya felt a mixture of pride and apprehension as she realized her simple class assignment had uncovered one of the most important discoveries in recent galactic history. The revelation of secret human space civilization would challenge everything the galaxy thought it knew about human capabilities and history. "Director, we accept your invitation," Maya replied formally. "When can we arrange for the delegation visit?" "Docking protocols are being transmitted to your navigation systems," Director Vasquez replied. "Welcome to Kepler Station, Maya Chen. We have much to discuss." As the harmonious discovery began its final approach to the hidden installation, Maya realized that she was about to become the first mainstream human to make contact with a civilization that had been operating in space since before the European Renaissance on Earth. The academic implications were staggering, but, more immediately important was the question of whether they could work together to prevent a planetary explosion that would devastate multiple star systems. The docking process revealed the true sophistication of Kepler Station's technology. Maya watched through the observation ports as mechanical systems far more advanced than anything in the galactic fleet guided their ship into a perfectly fitted berth within the largest asteroid. The docking bay itself was a marvel of engineering, with atmospheric processors that seamlessly transitioned from vacuum to breathable environment in seconds. Director Elena Vasquez met them at the airlock, and Maya's first impression was of someone who seemed both ancient and timeless. The woman appeared to be in her 50s, but her eyes held depths that suggested centuries of accumulated wisdom. Her clothing was practical yet elegant, made from materials that seemed to shift color subtly as she moved. "Welcome to Kepler Station," Director Vasquez said, her smile warm but cautious. "You are the first non-collective humans to visit our installation in over 400 years." Maya felt the weight of history as she stepped into the station's corridors. The architecture was unmistakably human in its proportions and design principles, but executed with technology that made the most advanced galactic installations seem primitive by comparison. Living walls seemed to pulse gently with bioluminescent patterns, and the artificial gravity felt more natural than anything she had experienced on Academy stations. "Director, your technology appears far beyond current galactic standards," Veltar observed, her crystalline form reflecting the corridor's subtle lighting and fascinating patterns. How has the collective achieved such advancement in isolation? Necessity and time, Director Vasquez replied as she led them through corridors that seemed to stretch impossibly far into the asteroid's interior. When you're responsible for preventing planetary explosions and maintaining installations in some of the galaxy's most hostile environments, innovation becomes a survival requirement. They pass through multiple levels, each revealing different aspects of the station's operations. Maya saw laboratories conducting research that wouldn't be attempted in mainstream galactic science for decades, manufacturing facilities producing materials that seemed to bend light around them, and living quarters that suggested a population far larger than the asteroid's apparent size should allow. How many people live here? Krexnos asked, his military training automatically cataloging the station's defensive capabilities and population density. Kepler Station houses approximately 12,000 individuals, Director Vasquez replied. However, we maintain 17 similar installations throughout this sector of the galaxy, with total collective population approaching 200,000. Captain Yithral's skin flickered with amazement. 200,000 humans operating in complete secrecy for 8 centuries. The logistical complexity alone is staggering. They arrived at a central chamber that took Maya's breath away. The room was enormous, clearly occupying the asteroid's natural central cavity, but it had been transformed into something that resembled a cross between a cathedral and a starship bridge. Holographic displays showed real-time monitoring of dozens of planetary systems, stellar phenomenon tracking, and what appeared to be long-term galactic civilization development models. This is our primary operations center, Director Vasquez explained. From here, we monitor threats to galactic stability that pre-contact civilizations cannot address independently. Maya studied the displays, noting that several showed detailed tracking of various galactic species' technological development, including humans. You've been watching galactic civilization develop? Watching and occasionally intervening when necessary, Director Vasquez confirmed. The collective's mandate includes preventing catastrophic threats while minimizing cultural interference. We have quietly resolved 17 potential galaxy-ending crises over the past 8 centuries. Piptel's large eyes widened with excitement. 17 crises prevented. What types of threats require such intervention? Director Vasquez gestured to one of the displays showing a complex stellar map. Unstable stars that would sterilize entire sectors if allowed to nova. Quantum weapons research that could tear holes in spacetime. Aggressive artificial intelligences that could consume entire civilizations. Planets like Kepler 442b that could explode if disturbed. Veltar's form pulsed with growing respect. The collective has been serving as guardian civilization without recognition or thanks. Recognition would compromise our effectiveness, Director Vasquez replied. Open intervention would create dependency relationships that would stunt natural cultural development. Hidden intervention allows civilizations to develop their own solutions while preventing catastrophic failures. Maya began to understand the magnitude of what her discovery meant. The collective represented human capabilities far beyond what anyone in galactic civilization imagined possible. More importantly, they had been protecting the galaxy for centuries without anyone knowing they existed. Director, regarding the Kepler 442b situation, Maya said, focusing on their immediate mission. Is there a way to allow safe mining while maintaining planetary stability? Director Vasquez led them to a specialized display showing detailed analysis of the planet's core structure. The challenge is extracting valuable materials without disturbing the transuranics that maintain critical mass balance. Traditional mining approaches focus on bulk extraction, which inevitably destabilizes the core's quantum matrix. Krexnos studied the technical readouts. Thoraxian precision mining techniques might allow selective extraction without bulk disturbance. Combined with Squeaker quantum mathematics for stability prediction, Piptel added enthusiastically. Veltar's form brightened with sudden inspiration. And crystalline harmonic resonance technology could maintain quantum field integrity during extraction operations. Maya felt her excitement building as the solution began taking shape. What if we develop a collaborative approach that combines collective stabilization technology with galactic mining expertise? Each species contributes their specialized capabilities to create a solution none of US could achieve independently. Director Vasquez studied the team with growing interest. A multi-species collaboration incorporating collective technology would represent unprecedented cooperation between hidden and open civilizations. It would also demonstrate that humans belong in galactic civilization as equals rather than junior partners, Maya added, suddenly, understanding the broader implications of their discovery. Director Vasquez nodded slowly. That recognition might justify ending our isolation. The Collective Council has long debated when humanity would be ready for full integration into galactic society. Perhaps the time has arrived sooner than we anticipated. Over the next 3 days, Maya found herself at the center of the most intensive collaborative research project in galactic history. Collective scientists shared quantum stabilization technologies that revolutionized understanding of planetary core mechanics. Galactic engineers contributed precision extraction techniques that could remove valuable materials without destabilizing supporting structures. The combination produced solutions neither group could have achieved independently. Veltar worked directly with collective quantum physicists, her crystalline mathematics providing new insights into harmonic resonance applications. Her initial prejudice against human capabilities had transformed into profound respect for what hidden human civilization had accomplished. Krexnos collaborated with collective military engineers on defensive systems that could protect mining operations from potential core instabilities. His warrior background complemented the collective centuries of experience with hostile environment operations. Piptel found kindred spirits among collective mathematicians who had developed quantum calculation methods centuries ahead of mainstream galactic science. His enthusiasm for advanced mathematics created immediate bonds with researchers who had been working in isolation for generations. Maya served as liaison between the groups, her pattern recognition abilities helping identify connections between different technological approaches. More importantly, she helped facilitate communication between cultures that had developed independently for centuries. The breakthrough came on the 4th day when Maya realized that the solution wasn't just technical, but philosophical. Instead of fighting Kepler 442b's instabilities, they could work with them, using the planet's quantum fluctuations as tools for precision extraction rather than obstacles to overcome. The planet's core instabilities follow predictable patterns, Maya explained to the combined research teams. Instead of trying to suppress them, we can synchronize extraction operations with natural fluctuation cycles. The quantum fields that maintain stability can actually enhance precision mining if we time everything correctly. Director Vasquez studied the proposed solution with growing amazement. Synchronized extraction using planetary instabilities as enhancement tools. It's elegant enough to work. The final presentation to Professor Zixtal and Academy leadership exceeded everyone's expectations. Maya's team didn't just solve the Kepler 442b mining crisis, they revealed the existence of hidden human civilization and demonstrated collaboration techniques that could revolutionize galactic engineering. Veltar formally acknowledged her initial prejudices in front of the entire Academy assembly. Human pattern recognition capabilities identified solutions that 8 centuries of advanced collective research and galactic engineering expertise had missed. Maya Chen has demonstrated that human cognitive abilities represent unique and valuable contributions to galactic civilization. The aftermath brought changes that rippled throughout galactic society. The collective began gradual integration with mainstream civilization, sharing technologies that advanced multiple fields by centuries. Human standing in galactic society shifted from junior partners to recognized equals with unique capabilities. Maya found herself appointed as the first human collective liaison, responsible for facilitating ongoing collaboration between hidden and open human civilizations. The position required her to split time between Earth, Academy stations, and collective installations throughout the galaxy. Professor Zixtal's final evaluation was delivered privately, his compound eyes reflecting genuine admiration. Student Chen, your discovery has fundamentally altered our understanding of human capabilities and galactic history. Your academic achievement extends far beyond solving a mining crisis to revealing hidden civilizations and establishing new paradigms for interspecies collaboration. 3 months later, Maya stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Kepler research station, watching as the first synchronized mining operations extracted valuable materials from the planet's surface while maintaining perfect quantum stability. The technique had been so successful that 17 other worlds with similar instabilities were being considered for collaborative mining projects. Veltar approached, her crystalline form reflecting the planet's unusual auroras caused by the synchronized quantum fields. Maya, I wanted to thank you again for demonstrating that prejudice based on species stereotypes has no place in scientific collaboration. Maya smiled, remembering the crystalline being's initial dismissiveness and thinking about how much had changed. Science has a way of forcing us to recognize truth regardless of our preconceptions. The galaxy is fortunate that your pattern recognition abilities identified what we all missed, Veltar continued. Without your insights, we might have continued fighting against planetary instabilities instead of learning to work with them. Maya watched as mining operations continued their careful dance with the planet's quantum fluctuations, extracting resources with precision that would have been impossible using traditional methods. The success had implications far beyond mining operations, demonstrating collaboration techniques that were already being applied to other seemingly impossible engineering challenges throughout the galaxy. Her data pad chimed with a message from Director Vasquez. The Collective Council had approved full integration protocols, ending 8 centuries of isolation. Hidden human installations throughout the galaxy would begin revealing themselves and sharing technologies that could benefit all spacefaring civilizations. Maya realized that her simple class assignment had grown into something that would reshape galactic civilization for generations to come. The discovery proved that assumptions about species capabilities often limited collaboration more than actual technological constraints. When different perspectives worked together, solutions emerged that none could achieve independently. The mining operations below continued their synchronized dance with planetary forces, extracting wealth while maintaining stability. It served as a perfect metaphor for what galactic civilization could achieve when prejudice gave way to genuine collaboration and hidden capabilities were finally allowed to emerge into the light.